Hello, everybody. We're back with another Rosterpocalypse interview. We've circled all the way back around, and we're back to the Warriors with Genetics and Netrioid. The Warriors have opted to replace their support, Awesome Jake, with Genetics, which is kind of how everything started off. This is how we kicked off the whole Rosterpocalypse. But yeah, we're joined by Genetics, the new support, and Netrioid, the ADC, the duo lane. How are you guys doing?
Hello. Doing fantastic. Thank you for inviting us for this talk.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. It's great that people are so willing, because I know a lot of people don't enjoy interviews at the league, but it's cool that people are willing to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I guess let's talk a little bit about what's been going on in the break. Net, you're back in Peru, is that right? Seeing family? Is this the first time you've been back in a while?
Yeah. No, it's the second time because I have to do this in order to get my visa, right? So I have to always come back at some point whenever I get my appointment ready, and I got one, thankfully. So I'm here just waiting for my visa to get accepted, and then I can just return back to Atlanta.
And Genetics, you've just been through the same thing, right? Had to go back to the UK, I guess go to London to get your visa sorted, is that right?
Yep, I actually came back yesterday. And my schedule's already good, though. It's been great. I went to bed at 10, I woke up at like 10 this morning, so...
Very healthy. Solid. We love that. Yeah, it is pretty early for you. It's early gamer-wise, 12 o'clock. Yeah. Scary D wouldn't be up. Let's just say that. Anyway, enough drama baiting by me. Let's get into the topic of business, which is, the decision to replace Jake with Genetics. Normally we start off with like a little bit of a timeline. So I guess, Sam, you and Panatom were chatting first of all. Like how far back does that go? I think you said in your article it was like midway through phase 1 or something like that. Your article, your document.
Yeah, so I guess the quick timeline for me, from my perspective, would be One Worlds tried to make a change. No one else wanted to make a change, so the change didn't happen. The world slump didn't happen initially. Then we started losing, and we never really clawed back. Never really agreed on stuff. We were into like a 4-game loss streak, I think, at that point, and I really wanted to play like the Warriors with the Warriors, all that stuff. I was very like focused on trying to, because I want to beat the best team, right? Whatever the best team's doing, you should try and copy or try and beat them. And anyway, so I messaged Panthon just saying, I just messaged him straight up saying like I want to play with you no matter what. Like whether you join Kings or I join you, I'm down. And then that was it for me. Until I got a message from, I guess, Royd. I guess he can take over from there. But I got a message like maybe like 2 weeks later, I think.
Yeah, so Royd, did Panatom speak to the rest of you guys about that, and did you kind of mull it over a period of time?
Yeah, because what happened is that Pani told us about the Genetics message, and I was like, yeah, I mean, of course, we all know that Genetics is a world champ, but by that time we were winning everything, right? So we weren't thinking about doing roster changes. That's something I want to go later on the interview. Of course, I want to like point some things out and say what's true and what's not true. But yeah, basically the information came by Pani, and we like kind of discussed it. We didn't say, oh, we're gonna like take Genetics right away, right? We just discussed it, and that was pretty much it. And Pani said that I'm kind of on the fences right now for the moment. And I was like, yeah, for sure, because we're winning everything, right? So we don't have to like overthink about this. But the offer was there, and I liked it. Like, I'm going to be honest, like I liked the offer because I play with Genetics, and I think he's like a really insane support. And yeah, that's what happened.
Okay, so then a few weeks go by, we get to the end of the phase, and I think it was it between the qualification tournament and the actual tournament? Or was it just before the qualification tournament?
It was. I think I got a message from those guys, and we got on a group call. I think it was before playoffs, just before playoffs.
Yeah,
because I thought there was a 2-week break after playoffs, so I wasn't going to make the change. And I think Royd, I can't even quite like Royd messaged me saying like, he asked me if I wanted to join, and I said like I need more time because I think they thought I'd join right away, but I needed more time because I didn't want to join with only a small break. So we played out the tournament, and then the second we lost to the Leviathans, I messaged them back saying like yeah, was it before that or was it during that?
It was after Leviathans lost.
I think I said that I'd think about it, and then I told the Kings that I had the offer, and then that night I wanted to make a decision on whether I was leaving or joining. And that's when everything hit the fan, basically.
Yeah, the decision came through. I don't know. Did the roster lock come into play after that tournament or before that tournament? I'm not sure.
But I don't know. That's the thing. Is that's the only thing that I'm gonna say is me and the Warriors messed up really badly with this roster change that we didn't know the roster lock was there. I have no idea still when the roster lock came into place. I have no idea. It was never communicated. I know that it's 3 weeks into split two.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I know, but I never knew for the first one. We should have assumed, obviously, but I have no idea when it came into place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, difficult one when you don't know. You try and make the change, and then all of a sudden, both parties are kind of in the mud a little bit because the Kings, you've told them that you're essentially moving, and you guys were, as I understand it, basically on the way to tell Jake when you found out that the roster lock was in place. Is that right, Netrioid?
Sorry, ask me again. Sorry.
You guys were on the way to tell Jake that you were making the change when you found out that the roster lock was in place.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it was kind of awkward situation, of course, but we were. I was kind of sure that the roster change was possible, but apparently it wasn't. And there was some misinformation and miscommunication over there. But overall, I think it went pretty smooth. It was awkward, but we were honest with everyone, even with Jake. So.
Yeah. The only thing that I'd like to clarify one thing is about the timeline is I watch every interview. I love poll content. I think people have been saying on Reddit a little bit that the Warriors weren't going to tell Jake, and that's not quite the case. I told my team at let's say 5 p.m. after lost to the Leviathans. I didn't make my decision until later that night. I was still messaging people. I really wasn't sure. I was mulling it over for ages. I was really on the fence because it's such a big change moving house and apartment and a safety net and stuff. And in between that time, Biggie messaged Jake before I even made a decision. So the Warriors aren't going to kick a player before the player they want to pick up accepts. So it's not like Warriors didn't want to tell Jake. It was that he was told before I accepted, so they couldn't tell him.
Okay.
Just to clarify that one thing.
Okay. Yeah. I misunderstood the timing there when Biggie spoke to me about it. I thought he was saying that it was after you accepted that he messaged Jake, but
I think he assumed that I accepted, and I know he said that, but I really didn't accept until I went out for a beer with them as well with Kings after I told them that I was possibly leaving. And I was thinking about it the entire time, so I think he just assumed.
Yeah. Difficult situation for sure. And then you make the decision, try and put the roster change through. You get told by the admins it's not happening, and then both sides have to deal with, I guess, near enough 3 weeks or whatever, where you're practicing playing with a team that you know is basically not going to exist anymore. How was that for you guys? Sam, I think Twig said that he thought practice was better once that was all kind of out in the open. How did you feel about it all?
I think it was kind of weird. I don't know. It's kind of a really weird situation for me. If I'm going to be, I can be honest about everything. I thought it was super weird because before tournament time, everyone steps their practice up. And I was of the opinion that regardless if I was leaving or not, we were going to try hard. And there was a few messages in Discord questioning whether we should even practice or how hard we should practice. But I think by the end of it, everyone kind of agreed to try. And there was a few arguments, and there was a bit there was a situation with Ben where I wanted to invade a red buff, and Ben was like, "Well, you're not going to be my support anymore, so I'm not going to follow that call." There was a few which is I took that pretty personally, but we ended up discussing it after, and it was fine. But it was icy, obviously, because if we won that tournament, I was going anyway. As long as Warriors wanted me, I was going. I think pretty much guaranteed, just because I wanted to make the change. So it was definitely weird. And I know they tried Quick Out at some point. I think the second day after it was on a Tuesday or something, 2 weeks before, they tried Quick Out. And then there was a bunch of house parties and stuff. And when people get drunk and start talking and I can overhear stuff, I heard a bunch of stuff. And I kind of actually got the opinion that regardless of whether I was joining Warriors or not, let's say Warriors won the tournament and ended up keeping Jake, which I thought was a possibility. I think I was going from the Kings anyway. I think I kind of knew that. But I kind of knew that how the rest of the team reacted to when Ben said at the start of the year he was potentially going to leave the roster and look for his options. I knew I was kind of gone the second that I wanted to leave the team, regardless of how good I am or anything. Because we had to make a change, so I knew I was kind of gone regardless. So I was kind of I was a bit nervous.
you were please ferry them, please get a winner. They went 3-0.
I was sat in Discord and my friends were "Oh, they're winning a team fight." I wasn't actively rooting for their downfall, but Like I would be interested to know in another universe what would have happened to me if the Warriors had kept Jake. I think I'd be on the Hounds or something, maybe. I don't know.
You and Coast.
Yeah, that from my point of view, that was what it was. That's what it was like. It's a little bit tense, a little bit awkward, but we tried for practice though. It wasn't actually that bad overall.
Yeah, and how about you guys? Did anything change between sort of the practice during the regular season and then practice when Jake kind of knew that you tried to replace him? How did you guys work through that?
We were pretty well because I'm always a vocal person when it comes to like situations like this. So I talked to Jay personally with the team on the call, and everything went well. Everything went smooth, and I told him like why the change was like kind of like because we made the decision, right, and then Jake got told by Biggie apparently, and then Jake told me or asked us like what's this roster situation, what's this roster change, and I told him. Pretty much, I had to talk everything, and I told him everything that I thought it was good to try to correct for him, right? Because I want him to be a better player. Since the beginning of the year, I wanted him to be the best player in like the best support in the league. He kind of demonstrated by mechanics, of course, but there were some few issues that I talked to him even before we started playing screams and everything. I talked to him, yo, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, and it was pretty much done by that day. And I told him, Jake, there's no any if there's something that is bothering you by me or by someone else on the team, you can always say it. And he kind of like just stood there quietly, not saying anything. And he said like, yeah, I'm gonna try to work on these things. So that's why I thought it went well. And I told him like, we want to be straightforward with you, we want to be honest with you, and this what happened, and this is why. And we are gonna give you like a second chance for this tournament because there's like a 2 or 3 weeks before the tournament, and I think you can work on those things. And if you can demonstrate that you can put a lot of effort like we have been doing, and you can like do this and that, I'm pretty sure you're just gonna be the best support in this tournament. And he told he just like kind of vaguely said like, yes, I'll do that. That's pretty much what he said. So
okay, yeah, difficult situation for both of you there, I guess. And it seems like this is the impression I got from the outside looking in, is maybe that there were a couple things that Jake fixated on and talked about that maybe you'd brought up, and that information kind of got out and people were talking about that. Specifically, I guess there was chat about the fact that he lounges too much during picks and bans and that he jumps too much in game. Were those like a couple of things out of many that you said to him that maybe he's focused on because he felt they were unfair, or is that just something that you don't remember talking about at all?
No, for sure. I mean, I can go in parts. So I would like to go in parts right now, and I will be starting about the things that were said and which are true and which aren't. Okay. So first of all, I would like to people know, or they need to understand that showing hate towards others is not good, right? Regardless of what you say or whatever you hear, like showing hate towards others is not good. Just listen to both parts first before like judging someone, right? Even if your favorite player got kicked, you are not in the right to go and spread hate people just because you don't like what just happened, in my opinion. And there are ways of saying things and asking things, and then again, it might be difficult for some people. So yeah, replacing Jake was not an easy decision, and that's for sure. We didn't look for excuses as people think we did. I don't know why people were saying like there were some excuses over there, like they just tried to get him out of the blue, like for no reason. And we were like, no, that's not true. Let me go back to the point where I gather everyone together, right? So I have been wanting to team with SOT years ago, and every time a new year starts, we will always exchange messages about how cool it will be to team together, since we both think we're great players. And this year, it finally happened, right? With SOT, Panitom joining, and everyone. And we were like kind of hyped, right? We were hyped. And our only weak link, in my opinion, was Jake. Okay. So why? Because before joining the team, or like before gathering the team together, I always like to do some scouting. And I asked some players, asked some teammates before that played with Jake. And I kind of got like good, but mostly bad opinions, right, about the way of play style in the game. Because outside of the game, I think Jake is a great person, a great player. So that's why we thought that Jake was going to be like our league link. And as soon as we made the team, I told him, I told him, Joe, Jake, I've gathered some information about it, and I think we should work on this, because if you think you have something to tell me, or you want me to improve on something else, you can always tell me. I want everyone to be like I want to be some transparency, right on the team, some clearance, and I just want to grind. I just want to be disciplined, and everyone have their own opinions. And I wanted everyone to speak their mind and get every conversation about metas, guts, and stuff on that for that meta before the SPL started. And that's when I realized, or when we realized, that Jay will be the best fit, because he was like kind of like saying, yeah, we can do this, we can do that, right? So we're like, okay, sure, we're gonna do the team, and Jake is gonna be there. But then I told him, yo, Jake, I want you to be the best support. And how you're gonna do it? Like, I want you to make as many calls as you want. It doesn't matter if you like fail by doing it. We don't mind that. We just want you to be the best. And I talked about like a lot of how I wanted him to be like the MVP or the star player and everything. And it kind of turned me down after everything that I said. He was just like, okay, yeah, I can do that. While everyone was like hyping up and saying, like, yeah, I can do this, I can do that. Like, I want to play it like this, and like that. He was just like there, standing there, not like sharing his kind of opinions at some point. So yeah, that's basically what happened in the beginning.
So
And
yeah,
then-
just to clarify, in the beginning when you grouped up as a team, the kind of weaker points that you identified as well, the particular one was maybe Jake's comms and his openness to share opinions on things. Is that specifically what you were asking him to focus on improving?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. Okay, so what happened is that when we made the team, we knew that we didn't have a specific leader, right? As everyone was saying before the SPL started, they were saying like, oh, Warriors are going to be like the 5th or the 6th team. They don't have like an identity. They don't have a leader. So Auxilium and Panidom and I were discussing about how we should be telling people to do stuff. How are we going to express things in game when we don't have like a specific leader, right? Then we made the conclusion that we had to step up double time if we wanted to beat everyone that year. Right, so Pani and I started thinking outside the screams, outside the box, calling stuff in screams, and just trying to be the leaders. Depending on if I was owning dual lane or if Pani was owning jungle lane, jungle. We learned a lot, and we can confidently say that we have improved by doing that, which I'm happy for him and for me, of course. But then we had a really good relief, which was Pegon. Like Pegon, Daniel turned out to be a really good leader as well. So when we started screaming, he was calling stuff. So matches were way better on game day. But sometimes the game doesn't go in your favor, right? Like sometimes you can just be thinking about leadership or running the map on your terms. If the game is not looking good for you, like for example, I'm behind as an ADC. I need to like think about how I'm gonna farm, what I'm gonna do, and I cannot be like the specific leader sometimes. And it can happen the same for Pani. So that's what happened pretty much in that tournament. And at some game days, we kind of thought the same, because Pegon has to also focus on his gameplay and mechanics, so that he's not behind in mid, he can put some damage, etc., etc. So, and the same goes for SOT. So that's when we felt like we needed someone else to step up, and Jake was not doing it, even though we told him before we made the team, before we like even played the first game in SPL, we told him like, we want you to be like the best shot caller. Like I know it could be difficult, but it's not gonna be difficult if your teammates are telling you, yo, Jake, make as many mistakes as you want. It doesn't matter. We're not gonna blame you, as long as we learn from it and we can like just improve, right, on the communication as a team. So yeah. Also, another thing that I would like to explain why Jake was kicked, and it was like another reason is like, for example, we were on Picks and Ban, right? And Pegon will ask me, "Yo, Roy, do you want to play this? Do you want to prio this pick or something?" And I will be like, "Yes, give me this. I will own duo. Like I will give you like a 1K lead on goal. Like I will be 2 levels ahead and level minute 5, minute 7, minute 8, something like that." And then he will be like, "Yeah, that's good." And that's confidence, right? Or I will ask Pegon if he's like confidence on this, and he will like, yeah. Same with Panitom. Everyone was so confident, right? So that's insane. That's amazing when it comes to asking your teammate. But when it came to asking Jake, for example, this is a great emoji game, Jake. You should play this, and he will be like, I don't know. So that's when the confidence kind of like it's bad, because Jemoy is the best pick, but if your support is not willing to play it, you're not gonna give him, or you're not getting the confidence from him, and you're just gonna be like, okay, sure, you can go back to Afro, you can go back to Nox, even though Jemoya is the best pick here, right? So that's like kind of god pull confidence, and I hated that, and I told him, every time I listen to that lack of confidence, I will tell Jake, yo, Jake, I think this is bad. I think we should work on this. We should like try to be as confident as we can so that we can play anything that we can in game day, whatever is best for us. But it looks like he didn't want to change that from my perspective and from everyone else's perspective on the team. So that's one of another reasons. And also, if you were like on our seas playing on a match day or on a tournament, which also happened in the finals, how would you feel about your support? Like just not giving you the confidence, right? For picks, right? We are all professionals, and we should be able to play whatever is best in the meta, in my opinion. And if your support is not willing, or anyone, it's not only your support, if anyone is not willing to play something that we all know is good, then it's probably like kind of bad, right? It's gonna cost you some games. So I would also like to move to the jumping part. I know everyone wants to hear about the jumping part, okay? The jumping thingy that everyone seems to believe was one of the reasons we kicked him was discussed way months, like months before we played the tournament. It was months before we even had the thought of kicking Jake. I told him, because it was kind of funny. Yo, Jake, you're always jumping too much on the map when we're trying to do something important or looking for picks or playing like this. I want to address that Oxy, Paniton, and I, like the three of us, Oxyliton, Paniton, and I, most of the time sit after scrims while we eat or before we go and do our run games streams, and we watch VOD reviews, right? Every time. Like most of the time, we watch voice reviews with comms included. And I noticed Jake was jumping while we were talking about doing a thing, or when we were just going back and forward, jumping like a headless chicken, in my opinion. And I was like, I don't like that. I don't want my support to be jumping around like a headless chicken while we're trying to do something. Like you can hear in the comms, we're like, yo, we can do fire, or we can pressure meat, I don't know, something like this. And Jake will be like, jump it, not saying anything. And since the comms are included, he will be like, not saying anything and just jumping here and there, here and there, and here and there. And I told Jake, for his own good, because I love my players and I love helping them out, I told him, yo, Jake, I think I'm binding your jump button could help, because I've seen you die because you were jumping. Like you have died before, and so at some point, because you were jumping nonstop and you couldn't use an ability. I think people that are familiarized on the game, you know that if you jump, you cannot like dash away. There's like a lock. Yeah. So it also makes us seem you're not focused on the game or what's happening on the game, and you're just following people jumping around in the map. It's a fair statement, in my opinion, to say, and it's something you say if you are transparent with your players, which I told you, like we like to be transparent with your players. And I want to address this was probably 1 month and a half after we made the team and we had our winning streak. So I told him that even way before we had our winning streak about the jumping situation. So after all that, he wasn't like improving on the things we will tell him. Like SOT and Pegon, I want to clarify this thing. Like SOT and Pegon like to troll sometimes on the screams, right? Which means a bad practice from time to time happens. But what I like or what I love from them is that they will always admit it. Like they will say, "Yo, my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, we were just having some fun, which is fun, right? Which is fine. I don't mind it." But with Jake, he wouldn't just like admit it, right? He will think that he's kind of right, or sometimes he will make us think that we are being dumb. That's what I gather, right? For example, whenever he will answer like, yeah, I think that's okay. I thought he was like looking at me, saying like, yo, this guy is dumb. I don't know why, but I thought that, right? Because of the way of answering things, and that was the jumping situation pretty much. So yeah, I don't know if you have like any questions about anything else I've said.
Yeah, so it feels like this is something that's built up over the phase. Like it seems to maybe from the outside looking in that it was a sudden thing, but I guess that from you and the Warriors' point of view, this was like a pattern of Jake not addressing the things that you asked him to address, which is why when you had the genetics offer, you took it seriously. Is that kind of correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's pretty much what happened.
Cool. And then I guess you guys made the decision to bring genetics in. What were the discussions like about that? Did the team get together outside of Jake, have the discussion and kind of between you come to the conclusion that genetics would be the better choice for you?
The discussion was not, I wouldn't say it was great, but I wouldn't say it was bad either. It went normal. I will say that everyone was willing to play with genetics, but this is the first time I have like thought about a roster change. I'm gonna be honest. Like I was never the person to talk about a roster change that hard, like that enthusiastic about a roster change. So it was the first time. And for example, I know SOT and Pegon are good friends with Jake. They said like it will hurt them, and it will hurt everyone, like Pani and me and Oxylidion. Of course we're gonna be like, we don't want to kick Jay, but it is not working, right? So in a business environment, sometimes if you want to like improve, if everyone is trying to aim to a goal, which is winning worlds and be the best team, there are some few changes that must be done, right, if something is not working. So I think everyone understood that, and everyone said, yeah, we are down. But of course, you feel bad, right? Because we're human after all. We have like feelings and everything. Especially if it's your friend. And I'm gonna say, like, I like Jake. Outside of the game, he's like one of the funniest dude. I think he's really funny. He's like really chill to hang out and everything. I love Jake. That's why when I heard that he was like saying, "Oh, because I was jumping or because I was like leaning on my chair on picks and bans," something, I was like kind of hurt from the inside, because that wasn't what happened. Like, we told him specifically what he needed to change, like what he needed, because we wanted him to be better. We wanted him to be the best player in the league, like the best support in the league. And after all of that, after you want someone to be better, you are helping him to improve. Someone saying that in public just so that, I don't know, you can be the better person in the discussion, let's say, it kind of hurted me, honestly, like, because that's what not that's not something that happens. So yeah.
Yeah, roster changes always can be painful, and I don't know. Maybe to give Jake the benefit of the doubt, maybe he's trying to justify it to himself and make himself feel better about it rather than trying to throw you under the bus. But yeah, it is tough. And I guess, speaking of roster changes, you guys are back together. You teamed together previously on the Kings, and I think we had a chat about this, Netrioid, way back. And at the time, you weren't very happy about the roster change, and Sam, you, I think, have said yourself that you were pretty instrumental in that decision to change ADCs on the Kings. Have you guys, I guess, let's go, Sam, you've been sitting very quietly, very patiently for a while, Sam, thank you. I guess going to you, Sam, is that something that you guys have discussed at all since then? Is that something that you addressed going into this Warriors roster change?
Yeah, it was definitely a big part of it. The thing, the funny thing is me and Royd share a bathroom. I've been sharing a bathroom this entire time, and I can still hear that guy scream when I go to the toilet or something, or even through it, I can still hear that guy like.
I thought that was going a totally different way. When he goes to the toilet, he's screaming. You gotta get that checked.
Well, he moans when he goes to the bathroom. He doesn't scream.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
No, but I think for me, like, if you were to overall review the roster change I made last year, like, I said it to Royd as well. Like, I said, like, I think he lost his spark, in my opinion, and you can tell with this. He wanted to play with Pantheon as well. I know this as well for a fact. Like, we tried to make a change last year, like second split, I think. Then Roy wanted to play with Pantheon, so did I. It didn't end up going through, and then we had to make a change, and Yark was available, so we decided to do that. Royd lost his spark, in my opinion, so there was a reason for the move. I think Roy's clearly got it back. So I wasn't really concerned about playing with him again, because, I mean, when Royd speaks passionately, you can tell he cares about the game and when he wants to improve. Like, and I want to play with those kind of players. I think Kings lost that a little bit this year, where we kind of a little bit nonchalant, maybe a little bit, not by much, but like, I want passion. Like, I want to be involved in the game as much as possible, and like I know Royd's got that back, so I'm not concerned at all.
And Royd, it was the same for you. You felt that you teamed with Genetics before, you rate him highly as a player, and there was, despite being perhaps unhappy last year about the roster change, you were totally confident in playing with him again.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, when it comes to work, I always like to separate feelings and business, But I didn't hate, like, maybe at that point, like maybe the first week, of course, you don't know how to feel, right? But he's right. Like, I wouldn't say he's not right. He's right. Like, I would say I lost my spark because we were willing to make a change last year, and I knew we were gonna be like insanely better. We probably would have won like Wars pretty easily with that change, in my opinion. Because I wanted to play with Pani as well, and I think Genetics kind of saw it when we screamed with Pani last year. We were just trying him out, and I was like, I was going on I was going off on comms. I was like coming a lot and stuff. So I agree with Sam. I kind of lost my spark, but now this year that I'm playing with players that are really passionate about it. Like SOT is so passionate. Same with Pagan, same with Planet, same with Auxilition. That's what I want as well. So I think it's fair to say that I lost my spark last year, but now that I found it as well again, I think Genetics is just the best support right now in the league. And he has always been, because he's so passionate about the game. He's always thinking about the game. But in my opinion, that's what we need from our support. Because in tough times, let's say you're not winning a game, sometimes that, like, having an extra support or an extra opinion from a passionate player can help you win a game, in my opinion, because he's gonna be like, he's always thinking about the game. Like, he's gonna have like some answers, something to do. And that's why, I mean, and of course we own dual lane. When we like made the team, like the first year, we were all passionate and we were just owning dual lane, and that's what I'm expecting again, teaming with Genetics.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, I think, to outdo what you already did with the Warriors. I think that's what the community as a whole is kind of coming in and saying, is that, you went, what was it, 13-0 in the regular season or whatever it was, and then you broke like the record for consecutive wins, and then you go into the tournament, you lose in the finals, but that was post already having the decision made. I guess just talking about the community, it seems like there's been quite a lot of talk about this, and the majority of the people are not on your side. I think it would be fair to say. How do you feel about that? And like, is there anything that you would say to people to just try and keep in mind? I don't know. It's a difficult one, right? From the outside looking in.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that I said it in the beginning. Don't spread hate just because your favorite player got kicked. You guys have to understand, like, for the community, this goes for the community. You guys have to understand that this is a business. Like, everyone wants to win, right? So, what's something I don't like? Maybe Genetics wants to talk about it. I don't want to stall his idea about the friendship leave. I don't know if you want to say it about it, Sam.
Yeah, I'll mention that at some point.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go with that. Don't spread hate towards each other. Always listen to both sides first, because to me is that haters are always gonna hate, right? But people that supports you, once they heard that, there were some people that asked me, "Yo, is this true?" Which I kind of like, because they are giving me the benefit of the doubt, and they want to listen, right? They want to listen first to what the other person has to say in order to judge, or in order to like be, oh, okay, this happened, right? So in my opinion, haters are always gonna hate. If there are some haters, they're just gonna go with the part of like, oh, whatever Jake said is fine because I hate Netrioid, let's say, right? So don't spread hate, please, guys. Now that you guys listen to the version of this story, and now that you guys know
we've lost him.
Oh, you're about back. Everything that went. Oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you guys listen to the jumping situation and everything else, now you guys can start like making your own opinions about.
The Peruvian intranet is starting to struggle. It's Netrioid is back home and having some internet issues, I guess. But yeah, I think what it boils down to is wait till you know both sides and then form opinions. Is that right, Net?
Yeah, that's correct.
And Sam, Friendship League, is that what you wanted to touch on?
So just like a few points. First off, like, I mean, Royd's saying not to hate. Like, I completely understand why people would be against this change. Like, they were the underdogs going into the year. They dominated. Like, I understand why people would be against it. Like, Jake's a very well-liked player. He's not very controversial. I am not very well-liked by some people. I am very controversial. They're picking up a player who's won a lot on a team of underdogs. That changes them from being underdogs into a team that's just making sneaky moves. Also, like, I understand it. Like, it makes sense. Like, they're backstabbing their friend. There's plenty of reasons for people to say that, like why it's a bad move and their opinions on it. And then obviously Jake came out with his point of view and everything. Like, I understand why people are against it. That's fine. Like, I've already accepted in my head that I know even if we go 15-0 and win Worlds, I know the first thing people will say, well, they would have done it with Jake anyway. It's a lose-lose for this change. However, in my opinion, if you want me to list the reasons why I think this change would be really good for the Warriors, I thought Jake played fantastic this year. I think he was the best support. I think the reason for that was that it was very dual lane centric. If you rewatch the games, Jake is a very heavy dual lane focused player. His picks, his main support picks, the knock specifically, he was the best on. When the meta starts moving away from dual lane and starts being global rotations again like it was last year, which I was the best at by far, And when it starts being more Guardian-based picks, which I am the best on by far, that's the reason I think why the change makes sense overall. I'm a very confident player. That's the only reason I can say that will try and convince anyone. It's just I'm generally better than him. Specifically, maybe not all those things, but like if in a game, if Pegon gets if support's the best role in the game, you want a leader in support, you know? Like that's how I always viewed it. If the best role's jungle, they should lead. The best role's ADC, they should lead. And I think for the best team in the league, you don't want a weak point to someone that can't lead. I think that's like super important. And I mean, that's the reason why I think it was the correct change, regardless of whether he was not the reason they lost the tournament. It's just future proof, in my opinion.
Yeah, I understand.
Yep.
I understand. I think it's a fair comment that Jake's been not as successful in most other metas as you have. It just happens that this one, he was doing fantastic. And I guess it's from that's why people are so surprised by it, because he was playing so well individually. But if there's things he has to improve on and he won't improve on them, as you said, Netrioid, that's your reasoning, and that's why you think. And I don't think anybody thinks genetics is a bad support.
Just one thing. Like I mean, like Royd said it as well. Like Royd said, like he wants that passion. Like I'm one of the most passionate players there are. Like I'm getting fine complaining about the tournament format. You don't see anyone else do that, do you? You know, I Royd's seen it as well. Like I'm a very confident player in game. Like if I get a pick, I know I'm going to carry on that pick. You know, and like you want that, especially at tournament time. Like going into Worlds, like Biggie's mentioned it before. I was by far the most confident player going into that World Championship, and I knew it. I was so confident when we locked in Bologna against Bolts game 2 or something. I was so hyped for that. Like I love the game and I really want to win. And I don't know.
Is gambling legal in Texas? Can I say I remember you taking some bets in the lobby about how many sets you were going to lose. No money on the line, of course, just other things.
Yeah, just reputation.
It was on maybe gems or MMR, you know, inside of it.
Exactly.
I think I made like 300 gems. I think I said that I wouldn't lose. I made it.
You said you would lose more than 2, I think, over the tournament.
It was one. It was one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lose more than 1, and that was with Dame. So I won like 200 gems from that or something. Yeah. And I made a few of the bets with a few of the random people. Not that confidence means anything, but lucky, I guess.
Cool. Yeah. Well, moving away from any kind of legal or illegal gambling that went on, I wanted to ask you both, like, going back through the move, there's the obvious one of not trying to make a roster change when the rosters were locked, but are there any other things that either of you think you would change if you could have gone back, you know, a few months and gone through this process again? Is there anything, we'll start with you, Sam, is there anything that you would have done differently?
It's really tough. I think if I would have gone through it again, I really should have forced the roster change at the start of the year. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an emotional. I don't want to be like an emotional guy or anything, but like when we were losing and stuff, like I was so depressed. Like I'm fully involved in the game. I'm fully involved in this. Like I'm a very like purpose guy. Like if I don't have a purpose, I get very like lost, I guess. Mm-hmm. And like us, like not. Like when we're falling behind and not even like picking up our practice and like not being more like passionate, like to me it was just so depressing. So I would have forced, if I knew that, I would have forced the roster change at the start of the year, whether it was me or someone else in the Kings. I would have done that straight away. And the second thing is, I guess if I was to do it again, I don't know. I would have maybe just. It's so weird. I don't know, because I feel like there's some stuff you could have done differently, right? Like I would have played differently, I guess, and like picked differently, but. I don't know. I think maybe I shouldn't have messaged Parathon when I did. Maybe I should have waited till second split. I can see why people think that would be sneaky because I'm like forcing a roster change without messaging my team. I understand that, but I kind of felt like something was brewing anyway, and I think like we talked about that before, but that someone was going anyway. So I kind of thought I'd just start it early and just hope that something would happen with Parathon, because I think he's the best player in the world by a large margin.
Yeah. I think we talked about it a while ago, and you were basically just like, I think Panathom's the best jungler, and I want to play with him.
I'm a big Panathom fan. Yeah.
And Nat, is there anything looking back that you would have changed about the roster change? Like maybe, I guess the way that I might think things could have changed maybe is communication with Jake. If he ended up misunderstanding things, maybe things could have been clearer. But I don't want to put words in your mouth. Is there anything that that you maybe would have changed about the whole situation, other than knowing that rosters were locked and not trying to make a roster change when you weren't allowed?
Yeah, of course. I think the main reason, I mean, the main thing I would change will be that, right? Like, first thinking or asking the admins about if the roster change could be possible. But apart from that, I don't have any I don't have anything to change or I would like to change, because I think everything went pretty clear. Everything was it was transparent from everyone. I told Jake what happened, everything. Like I told you, like I mentioned it before, and everything went clear. Like that's what it kind of surprises me, because everything went so smooth and we were so direct, straightforward with everyone, not only with Jay. And we gave him a second chance. You know, if he wanted to stay on the team, we told him like, yeah, I mean, we're gonna give you a second chance because everyone deserves it, right? So we saw it that it wasn't happening. So I wouldn't say I regret something apart from not knowing about the roster change and asking the admins before, right?
The only thing, right? I think like from a community perspective, like people would, if you were to like try and get the community on your side, like you guys definitely should have waited till second split. Because I mean, listen, I'm fine. Like I'm very happy the roster change happened and everything. But like from an outside looking in, if people are trying to like shit talk the change, like realistically, you're giving Jake a second chance when you guys are 13-0. Not to like, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate or anything. I'm just saying like that's probably what people would assume would have happened. I think it was just a different change, right? It's like a preemptive change for what you guys thought.
For sure. Yeah. It would have been, everything would have been discussed on second split, in my opinion. Yeah.
But if you won the tournament and made the change going into second split, it would have been exactly the same conversations happened anyway, I guess. Like
I wouldn't. If they won the tournament after going 13-0, I don't think I would have been picked up then. To be fair,
really,
but I really don't think so. I mean, I know they gave Jake the second chance stuff, but if they never had that conversation and they waited till second split and they didn't lose a single game again, I mean, how much do you need to, like it's so weird. Like what your weak points are on your team and your players, but if you're still winning regardless, at that point, is it even worth making a change? I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a fair point. We don't know honestly, because of course it's a different reality, right? But everything would have happened, I guess. Yeah. Something.
Well, I wouldn't give to have like a window into alternate dimensions to see what would have happened if this one thing changed. Cool. Getting away from you guys a little bit, let's talk about something a bit more fun maybe for you two, is the roster changes around the rest of the league. So you guys kind of pulled out the Jenga block that made the supports around the league come tumbling down, mix up everywhere. And I was just wondering, who do you think like won out of this? Like, I guess we'll go through the teams. Yeah. So you guys are obviously going to feel like the Warriors got better. And then Kings, I guess you guys are going to feel like got worse. But how do you feel about the Quig? I guess this is particularly pertinent to you, Sam. How do you feel about Quig coming in for you? Do you feel like the Kings probably made the best choice for them?
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. One thing that Ben always said when he was like looking at making roster changes, Ben's always very complimentary of other players and like who he thinks is like going to be good for the team and stuff. I said the same thing. The second I was thought about leaving, I even mentioned that you guys should just get Quig. Like mechanically better than a lot of other supports, and seems to be leading his team, which is like when you play the experience, that only gets better, not worse. I mean, as well, like I did even have a call with Quig, convincing him to join the Kings when he was 50-50 on it, because it did seem like a weird change to some people. Like, if I was in the same situation as him, I would have taken it 100% because it's a lasting reputation you get playing with better players than maybe a fluky tournament. I mean, I don't know. They played really well, but like a one-off tournament win doesn't justify you not playing with some of the best players in the world that can make you better, guaranteed. So I think Kings maybe got better. It depends how important I was. I don't know. It's so weird because I am very I have been very controlling, especially as I felt like my role got less important. I got very frustrated. But maybe the change is definitely good for them. Whether Quig will be better than me, probably not. But the change might be good. Like maybe more control towards Yarkor and Jordan and Ben will be better in the long run for them.
Yeah, it's one of those where you feel like any change might be better for the team as a whole when you're stagnating, I guess, like the Kings were.
It was very depressing. I'm a very passionate player. Like I'm very confrontational, it's because I care, and maybe I don't show it in the best ways. But like, I really did think we were just not playing correctly the entire year, and I think that's probably why I wasn't the best teammate. And I think Royd's seen that as well. Like, when I'm very happy, I'm a very good teammate in my opinion. But when things are going slightly wrong, and I feel when I smell like someone not trying like as much as they should do, and someone's not fixing mistakes, like to me, like, I know what I'm bad at. Like I know what I'm bad at. Every single split, I know what I can improve on. And I feel like if the other people aren't doing that, then why would I ever admit to my mistakes and stuff? And then to me, it just starts tumbling where then I'm not improving, and I don't know, I'm just rambling at that point. But
Yeah, I understand.
They got better. Sorry, I'm just rambling.
And Net, what do you think about? Let's go to the Glads. The Glads obviously brought in Jake for inbound, and they brought in Connor in solo for Scary D. How do you feel about those changes?
I feel like I think they got better. Honestly, like I like Bobby. I think he's a really nice dude as well. But I feel like Jake could bring more to the table, in my opinion, because mechanically, I will say Jake is better than Bobby. I don't know how Bobby was when it came to comms, but I think they got better in my opinion. Honestly, like they have a chance. Like I think they removed Scary D as well, right? So they went with Kona,
Yes, yeah,
right? I think Kona is a great player as well. So I think the combination of Jake and Kona, it all comes down to communication, in my opinion. I don't know if Stuart is a big if a big communicator or anyone on the team. But if I don't know if they gather together and they say they just want to have the best comps ever, I think they have a chance. Honestly, they can be top 5 from the beginning, or maybe top 4 if they really wanted to, in my opinion. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think it brings them closer to the rest of the pack as well, especially regular season. Scary D, big game monster, regular season, not so much. And I guess the last team for now that have made changes, I really hope there aren't any more roster changes. I heard there's some brewing. But anyway, the Hounds pull Neil Ma out of his coaching retirement home and back into support. How do you guys feel about Neil coming back in? I guess let's start with you, Nat.
I love Neil, honestly. I think it's great for the league to have Neil back, just to have some fun in the league. Of course, it was kind of funny when I heard that he was gonna come back from the retirement of being a coach and then being a player again. It's funny because I know people cannot escape from Smite because people always say like, oh, I'm gonna retire, and then it will be like, oh, I'm back, guys. And it's like, it's fun. I mean, I kind of love that everyone loves Smite to the point where they can always come back, to compete in, because if you're doing something, it's because you like it, and I love that from everyone. So I think Neoma I think he has experience, right? He has like pretty good experience with rookies in the league, for example, like Paparishkos and the other guys. But I think he could be a good implement on the team. He can like have a leadership. But then again, I cannot really say they're gonna dominate the league right away. I think there has to be some, I don't know, some stuff to happen first in order them to improve on the errors. But I think they're gonna do great, if not better.
Yeah, it does feel like bringing experience in is nice for the rookies. Sam, I see you pulling a face there. What do you think?
No, I was just thinking. I was laughing because Roy's just been like, yeah, Inbound's a great player and nice guy. Bobby, Neomar, nice guy, great player. Who's not a nice player? Name one, Roy. Okay. Who's not a great player? Who's not a nice player? Sorry, I just
don't put him in that corner.
You're very complimentary, but I just want to know who's not the good player.
Who's not a good player? Oh, that's tough, man. If I say names, I'm gonna be
just bleep it out.
I'm not editing this. It's 45 minutes long.
Sorry. No. In my opinion, like, there's no way anyone can think Hounds got better. They just got worse. Like Quig was really influential on that team, from what I've heard. It's just a downgrade. Like Neil's going to be rusty. I don't even know if Neil was as good as Quig is right now when he was playing last year. If anyone's saying it's a downgrade, an upgrade, they're wrong, in my opinion, because their mental wasn't bad. Quig was fine. They were having problems. He just got a better offer. And then the Glads. Do you not think it's weird, Paul, that they've lost their main shot caller and like Kermie's now like, yeah, I'll just step it up. Like if Kermie's not a good shot caller, I think they're just fucked personally.
I think Snoopy
like if Kermie's a good shot caller,
is the other one.
Yeah, I guess, but like it is definitely like it's definitely risky. I think that the players got better. But if you don't have a shot caller, which they know like Jake isn't, like Stuart, I don't think is a shot caller. Like you could see like Titans last year, they had Cyclone Spin, he was a shot caller. and then the shot caller moved away to Sino, not because they picked up Stuart, so they didn't have Cyclone anymore. I'm just saying, like, it depends on who their shot caller is and whether they're actually a good shot caller, whether they'll do well, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I suppose you can't be worse than 8th, I guess. Can they? Do you think they could do worse than they did last phase?
No,
I know
they won't
beat
do.
Kings,
They won't do worse.
That was
Also, there's something like about the honeymoon phase, you know. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah, everybody steps it up. I guess you guys probably haven't scrimmed much with your new roster yet, but you'll get
No,
some
it's been
time soon.
it's been so
Awful.
boring.
It's been awful, yeah.
Because like to me, like I'm not. I mean, there's like jokes about like Mike. Like Mike's a big typer in Discord, and like he like has all his ideas and stuff. Like I'm not the same way exactly. Like I do get very passionate moments where I type a bunch of shit and like a bunch of like stupid ideas, but I can't type them because I don't know what the meta is going to be. I don't know how everyone plays. Like I've been very like when we had a talk before the roster change happened, and I spoke to like Pegon and stuff, and I said like I think whoever's shot calling for your team is the best shot caller. So I just want to fit in that and like do what I can without being controlling. But I haven't had the chance to even give it a go yet. So it's like hard, like holding in the passion and the willing to start playing and learning a new environment. But we can't because if we start doing it now, we'll be burnt out by the time we even start scrimming. So it's been super weird for me. And I'm in the King's house still, which has kind of not been bad, but like I've been in the King's house. I'm not doing anything with them. We're moving into a new apartment, me and Royd with Snoopy on Monday on the 1st of August or something. So I'm looking forward to that, I guess. But it's like the long break has been bad for it, in my opinion. We should have been playing right now.
Yeah, it has been a long break. When are you back in the US from Peru, Netrioid?
As soon as I get my visa, I have my appointment. Yeah, I have my appointment next month. Then it's gonna be kind of weird because apparently before it used to be 5 Labor Days. Is that what you call it? Labor Days?
Yeah, like working days.
So it will be 5 Labor Days, but now it's been to the point where it's like 2 weeks. Yeah. So because of the after pandemic, it went from 5 to 2 weeks. So it's gonna be rough, but I'm hoping to be back before everything starts so that we can start screaming and everything.
So we might only be halfway through the break.
Yeah.
It's just like so messed up.
But, yeah.
We shall see. Well, I hope you get to enjoy your time at home anyway. And Sam, I hope you had a good time back seeing family. I think it's been nice that more people. I think Vote went home for the first time in like 3 years this break as well. It's crazy.
Damn. So, I didn't know that. Damn. That's crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. Thanks very much for coming on, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time, especially.
Sorry it was so long.
I love it.
Yeah, sorry.
So many mid-roll ads. No, I'll turn most of the mid-rolls off.
Really?
Yeah,
I'd be once every 7 minutes for me, Paul.
It places them automatically, and I go and delete like half of them.
I do it manually.
Oh, that's smart.
Is this video gonna be above average? Would you say it's above average?
I would say this is an above average video for me. It's going to be long, though.
Maybe.
That's going to be the thing. Are people?
That's the problem. You'd probably get a lot of increase on the initial 10 minutes, and then when I start talking, it'll probably get a lot of views. You never know.
We shall see. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Yeah. Thanks very much for coming on, you guys. Looking forward to watching the new look Warriors in the next season go 12-1 and get lambasted for being a terrible team. No. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you both later. Cheers. Bye. Love you.
Yeah. Bye. Love you. Pieces.